Ubaruch, good morning, and Muadim Nesimcha. We're going to discuss this morning two halachot which hopefully don't happen, but it's important to know. The first one being, what if someone finds Chametz that belongs to them during Pesach? What do we do with that Chametz? The second is, what if, in a worse situation, if one forgot to sell their Chametz or a portion of their Chametz? What happens with that Chametz during and post Pesach? So the first is a little more simple. If we find Chametz on the Chag, the Gemara says what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take a vessel and cover it, and after the Yom Tov, meaning because it's muktzeh, meaning during Chol HaMoed, you will burn it. Now, that's only if it's sure that no one's going to by mistake reveal that Chametz and no one's going to eat it. Especially if you have children at home, if you find a Cheerio on the floor, if you find a pretzel on the floor, and even if you put a metal bowl on top, whatever you put on top, most probably over the course of the Yom Tov, one of the children are going to open it up, and maybe another or that same child might eat it, chas v'shalom. So that would not be a proper thing to do. Ideally, one could find that and they could broom it up and they could put it on the side, and then they'll take care of it after the Chag. There is a debate whether if you take Chametz that you find and you just put it in the garbage if you're good or not. Putting it in a public garbage is definitely fine, but if it's still in your own home, ideally it should either be soiled in either water and soap, therefore disqualified from food, or if it's during Chol HaMoed, to burn it. Now this is bona fide Chametz, meaning items that are clearly Chametz items, not items as we call in Hebrew tolerable Chametz, that have a mixture of Chametz in it. There are many things that we don't eat on Pesach just because there's a mixture of Chametz in them. And that is a little more lax. If you find something like that, you can just dispose it in the garbage, and that would definitely be not an issue. Now comes another question of, if you did not sell your Chametz, or someone did not sell their Chametz, or even better, let's say you sold Chametz in one of your homes, and you didn't in another. Or even in your own home, you marked off and you had in mind that you sold everything and you put it all in the garage and you left it in a separate fridge and you put it in a special pantry. But then, whether it's during Pesach or more practically even after Pesach, you find in your closet your special midnight stash, if you have that, right? I know it's an olden day thing, but some people still have that. Okay? Or you have in your office, let's say you for whatever reason, you did not have any Chametz in your office to your knowledge, so therefore you didn't put your office address on the sale. You get there the day after Pesach, the week after Pesach, you open your drawer, and right over there you have Chametz. What do you do with that Chametz? So now, the halakha is as follows. If it is real Chametz, again, pretzels, cookies, bread, anything which is bona fide Chametz that would quantify one foregoing the prohibition of owning and having Chametz in their possession over Pesach, that has to be thrown out and disposed of, and you're not even allowed to give it as a gift to another Jew and even to a Gentile. That is real Chametz. Any other Chametz that is a ta'arovet Chametz, it's a mixture of Chametz. Many candies we don't eat because there might be or there is a little bit of Chametz in them. For example, the greatest example, Twizzlers and nibs, for the young people who have that, right? Okay? It's known that there is a flour component which gives the candy a certain texture and density and keeps it together. So that is still quantified as a ta'arovet Chametz, a mixture of Chametz. So anything which is a mixture of Chametz that was unintentionally not sold before Pesach, if it's found after Pesach, one is allowed to be lenient and to consume it or give it away or do as they please with it. It's only items which are real Chametz. Sometimes someone thinks that they sold their Chametz, or they completely forgot to sell their Chametz. What happens? You have a lot of Chametz at home and you forgot to sell it, or you forgot to sell one location. What happens is someone has to come in there, someone knowledgeable, and you ask them what is Chametz and needs to be disposed of, such as many alcohols, whiskey, beer, and whatever else is derived from one of the 5 grains. But anything that's a mixture is not required to throw out. So it's important to note, we should not find any chametz, we should not have any chametz left over. But if in the case that we do, now we know what we do when we find chametz on Pesach, or if we find chametz after Pesach. Yes, I'll take a question.
If it's an office that mixed with the management,